Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be continuing part 2 of the craziest dating stories I have. And it's very hard to top the first one I started with, but there are some crazy stories I can share. And in this case, we're going to be covering a catfish story. Alright ladies and gentlemen, so let me paint the picture for you. I just went through a breakup with a girl I really cared about. Actually, I went through 2 breakups. The first breakup I went through was very rough, but basically I'll cover that in a separate video. Then I went through another breakup shortly after, and that one ended on really good terms. The only reason we broke up is because the girl moved out of town. So I'm here recovering from 2 breakups. The first one, it was only the baggage that was affecting me by this point. I no longer pedestalized the girl, so I was basically over the girl. I was just more fucked because of the situation I was in. Like basically, there is no ending that relationship ever because of the consequences of having sex unprotected. I'll let y'all register what that means. The second breakup, though, that I was recovering from was from a girl I really like. Fuck, dude. Out of all the girls I've met, this girl has been the one I've connected with the most. I was stupid connected with the first girl, the first breakup, but the second breakup was just something fucking else. Like I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna call a bill a bill. I don't know what the fuck that was on about, but sometimes you meet that one person in a billion, and at least in my case, that 1 in a 40, right? And anyways, so I was recovering from 2 traumatic breakups. Mainly the second one was on my mind. I was living alone during the time in a different city than I am now. And you know, I was training my ass off. I was actively fighting and competing. Since the town I lived in wasn't an MMA town, I was boxing. And as you know, boxing requires the same amount of work MMA requires. But I was putting in that work in the gym, I was putting in that work working, and to reward myself, I would either eat desserts. I know it sounds fucking silly, but again, when you're fighting, dude, you only have one cheat meal. Not a cheat day, a cheat meal where you could eat whatever the fuck you want. And I would almost always pick a Chili's dessert. I forget what it's called. I think it's a molten lava cake. Yes, I believe it is. Anyways, so I either had to eat dessert, go out with the boys and drink, and I was limited to about 4 drinks, or go out on a date. That was my way of having fun back then, because I was fucking stupid locked in. Anyways, again, training my ass off, putting about 6-hour days, sometimes 8-hour days. You know, during campus for sure 8-hour days. It was basically an entire fucking day training. I didn't really have that much time to go out of my way to meet girls. I met a couple of girls in that gym, and fuck, dude, I got some stories to tell y'all about that. Holy fuck, dude. So that'll be featured next episode. That's how good that story was on one of the girls I met there. But anyways, most of the girls I was actively meeting during that time were off of Tinder. And anyways, I match up with this girl on Tinder. Let's call her, what's a good name for her? Fuck. It's hard to come up with a name to describe that girl because I felt like her name was spot on. Let's call her Sally. Sally isn't the best name I could have gone with, but that's the name we're gonna fucking pick. Alright, so we met Sally off of the app. What intrigued me is when girls reach out on the app first. They message you first, and they message trying to pick you up. During that time, I had a pretty strict formula that if the girl isn't actively showing interest, I basically block them and move on. And it's something I kept on doing and brought me an insane amount of success, which brings me these stories. So word of advice is, if the girl is barely replying to your messages, block her, move on. You don't want that kind of shit in your life. And even if you succeed, dog, I digress. This channel isn't for you to maximize how much girls you get. It's to maximize the quality of girls you get. And girls who actively message and flirt with you are the ones you want to get. Anyways, back to the story. And remember, the footage I'm showing is pretty exciting. We were fucking taking curves. Homeboys were saying that I was falling behind on corners, but it was pure straights. So for those homeboys, I want you to analyze where I was really falling behind. I was falling behind straights because I refused to just be banging on rev limiter at 120 the entire time. I wanted to bring down the pace. I didn't want to fucking be banging on 120 limiter the entire time and damage my bike during braking. I was already doing some shit that y'all probably wouldn't have done. And of course, I don't know the bike that well. I don't know the tires that well. The tires are still during braking themselves. So anyways, I wasn't fucking trying to be street Rossi in this clip. Back to the story. I matched with this girl. She was showing mad interest, and you know, her pictures didn't look that bad. You swipe through and you're like, all right, she doesn't look bad. I'll give her the same score as the last girl, at 5.5, based on the pictures. Nothing spectacular, not model status, but cute. Not average, but slightly above average, cute. You know, definitely enough to warrant a date and potentially getting that Gawk 3000 on you. So, you know, I basically agreed to take her on a date. She was very interested in meeting. The only dates I do with girls off of Tinder who aren't at least a 7 or above are in-house dates. In other words, I invite them back to the crib. I tell her, hey, my crib is overseeing the bay. The water looks beautiful. Come check out my apartment. Let's grab some drinks in my apartment. I make a mean margarita. And this girl was actually much younger than me. I was maybe 24 during that time. She was about 18, 19 years old. So she tells me I can't drink. I'm like, well, fuck. I guess just come over to the crib and let's watch a movie. I wouldn't encourage her to drink for liability purposes. You always got to protect yourself. You could let her drink, but I don't need her to be drunk to succeed in what I want to succeed. So I'm like, all right, no worries. We don't have to drink. Let's just chill in my apartment, check out the view, watch a couple movies. And again, the strategy is always take them back to your place. You know, because that's where the magic is going to happen. If you set up a date and you're 2 hours from your house, 40 minutes from your house even, the logistics to get back home could be enough to fuck you over. And I truly believe in the importance of sleeping with the girl during the first date. I think it's extremely important you do it. And it's not because the girl is easy or whatnot. I've had literal girls who were virgins sleep with me the first date. Or at least within 24 hours, but that's a separate story. It's very important that that you secure the bag in the first date. Girls talk to their friends, and they'll be like, "How did the date go?" If you slept with her, and you did a good job, it'll check every box. The girl will be like, "It was so magical. We felt that chemistry that we even broke the rule of not sleeping during the first date." And you know, just overall, you really want to secure the bag the first date. Don't let these girls fool you thinking that they don't do that the first date. If I had a nickel for every time a girl said I don't normally do this, fuck, dude, I'd have at least a couple dollars. So don't let that stop you from trying to secure the bag. You should absolutely intend to secure the bag, not only to satisfy your primal needs, but if you want that relationship to have a solid chance. But again, that's more of how to keep a girl. That's a completely separate video. So we're not really gonna focus on the strategy behind it. We're just gonna focus what we agreed to. So the girl, most of the times, girls will agree to go back to your place. Occasionally, the girl will be like, "Oh, I don't know you that well. I'd rather not." And then that's when you have to kind of flip the script, change the scene to where you reply, "Fuck, you know what? You're right. I don't even know you. What if you're weird or something?" we should meet up somewhere outside of my house. I don't really like having strangers over to my crib anyways. And then that makes a girl want to qualify herself for you. That girl will be like, fuck, this, am I not good enough to go back to your place now? Do you think I'm awkward? And anyways, that's more strategy talk. But essentially, you want to flip the script whenever that happens. In this case, the girl agreed. Like I said, when girls show you interest and are actively flirting and messaging first and messaging more on the app, as long as you don't say anything stupid, it's a wrap, dude. Like, she wants you, dude. It's a fucking wrap. It's bound to come. So, I tell her to come over to my crib. She tells me she doesn't have a car. I'm like, fuck. And that's another thing. Sometimes you're gonna have to drive and pick up a girl. I have a strict limit that I don't really like to drive 40 minutes to pick up a girl. Like, that's my cutoff time. She could be a baddie and I'll still be like, 40 minutes to pick you up, 40 minutes to take you back. And then 40 minutes for me to drive back home. It's just like, I don't think most girls are worth that. So fortunately, this girl was only like 15 minutes away from my crib. So it's like down the street. No worries. It is worth it. The logistics are worth it. Anyways, mind you, by this point, the pictures were pretty clear. The girl wasn't bad looking on the pictures. There were a couple signs, though, that I gained from this. I gained a lot of experience, like I said, over the years. If a girl is only showing pictures of her face and not her body, that is a massive red motherfucking flag. If every single picture on the app is with a filter, that is another huge fucking red flag. So I was oblivious to the flags by this point, because the previous girls I've done it through Tinder basically looked like how they looked in their pictures. The margin of error was just fucking not there. But this experience would teach me that catfishing is a very real thing. So I drive up to this girl's house, and she tells me don't knock on the door because my parents are there. And basically, I'm pretty sure this girl was 18. I know she was 18. I know, like, that sounds fucked. No, she was 100% 18. I do fucking ID girls. I know it sounds fucked, but you gotta protect yourself. I absolutely ID girls. And I made her send a Snapchat of that shit before I even drove out there. But I'm pretty sure the girl was bullshitting that she had graduated high school. Simply put, because if the parents, if she did graduate high school, the parents wouldn't be that worried about her dating a 20-year-old guy, a 20-plus-year-old guy. But if she was in high school, they would frown upon a 24-year-old guy picking her up, their daughter. So she made me kind of pull a couple of houses down the street, which is another red flag. And she gets out and walks over to my car. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, she did fucking not look like her pictures, dog. Holy motherfucking shit. She did not look like her pictures. If I was fucking, what's that black podcast guy that judges girls? Fucking, I love this guy. I forget his name, but he was so fucking funny, dude. He passed away, so may the Godfather rest in peace. That dude is fucking a legend. If he would have seen that, he would have taken out the trumpet and started bum 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 bum. Holy fuck, this girl was big as hell. And again, you don't know who I'm talking about. This is not to insult or degrade anyone. It's just, you catfished me, dog. So I'm just throwing it out there. Again, if anybody is offended by this and they're personally affected by this fictitious story I'm telling about, fictitious, wink wink, let me know and I'll take it down. Again, this series ain't meant to harass or upset anyone. Back on topic though, I'm in fucking shock, dog. I'm like, should I drive away? But I think I'm like, fuck it, dude. I'm already here. I think it would be a dick ass move to drive away. I just don't have to sleep with her, dude. I don't have to sleep with her, right? I take her back to the crib. And I'm just thinking the entire drive there that I'm like, you motherfucker. You motherfucker, you cheated me, bro. You catfished me. Man, fuck you, dude. But at the same time, I'm putting on a smile like, oh, really? Tell me more about your day. Like, I'm like, motherfucker, bruh. Anyways, back at the crib, I would say that I didn't do the strategy of telling her my TV in the living room was broken and that my bedroom TV was the only one that works. And that strategy is bomb, by the way, because if she's already in your bedroom, laying on your bed, watching TV inside your bedroom, it's just easier to escalate from there than to have to move it from the couch to the bedroom. So I always lie and say that the TV in my living room doesn't work. The only one that works is in my bedroom. Yeah, gosh, shit. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I got tips, but tips I think should be a separate video. I don't think it should be the focus of these videos. These videos should just tell the story and that's it. Anyways, in this case, I'm like, no, we're watching it in the living room. I'm not taking you back to my bedroom. I'm fucking Gucci, dude. And again, I'm not trying to degrade anyone. If a 5 is average, a 4 is below average. Most girls who aren't average and are heavier girls are 4. For y'all to be a 3 or below, there has to be a 3. You would have to be morbidly obese. It's beyond being just a big boned girl. Like, holy fuck, you're in 500-pound life. A 3 or below, there has to be some defects. Like, you had to have been born without a fucking mouth or something. Like, something crazy to be down that much lower than average. In real life, this girl, even with the makeup she put on, was a 4. I'm sorry. We gotta call a bill a bill. She was big enough where, like, motherfucker, I was in fighting shape during that time. I was like 147 pounds. This girl was almost double my weight. That sounds fucked. She was just heavier than me, dude. And you know, I sat down and we started talking, and you know what? I actually really ended up vibing with her personality. I thought she actually had a really good personality. I thought her story that she told me about her life was actually pretty good. And you know, personality-wise, she was actually a pretty fire girl, I gotta say. I have nothing bad to say about her personality-wise. Had she physically looked different, I would have definitely invited her into my bedroom and told her my living room TV doesn't work. But no, I have standards, ladies and gentlemen. I don't. I'm not a horn dog, 17, 18-year-old guy who would fuck anything that moves. I have pretty fucking strict standards that has to be minimum average or above, and I don't even do average, so it has to be at least 5.5 or above. It has to be at least cute, at least better than average for me to be willing to do that. Now that I'm 27, 28, like, fuck, you have to be a 6 and above. I no longer even fuck with 5s at all. And it ain't even a 6. With makeup, you'd be like a 6.5. Like, you would have to be, you know, significantly above average, pretty, for me to be willing to do that. But back on the story, back then I was younger, and like I said, it was my day to have fun. The day to have fun was cooked, but that doesn't mean I can't have a good conversation with her. Eventually, the girl starts making moves, like she wants to kiss me. I didn't want, again, I just don't have the heart to reject a girl. Girls have shown me how to be ruthless, but me, I just feel so fucked when someone leans in for a kiss and you don't kiss them. So I do kiss her back, but when she starts trying to fucking put her tongue in my mouth, I'm like, hell no. Like, I pull back, like, you know, fuck. So do you want anything to eat? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have my limits. I'm not gonna let you get all hot and bothered because I'm not gonna ride this train. Unfortunately, I'm not. And I believe the girl has started picking up signs that, you know, unfortunately, I'm not going to ride this train. Anyways, to make a long story short, the girl ends up showing me her talents, and not in the bedroom, just her normal talents. She has actually a beautiful voice. She can sing really fucking well. And I tell her, look, it's getting late. I have to train in the morning. I'm gonna take you back home. And obviously, the girl, you could physically see the disappointment in her face. I'm sure she knew what she was getting into. Most of the girls, 99.99% of girls who I take them back to my house as the first date, or shortly after the initial place we went out, anytime I take a girl back home, they already know what's going to happen. And they already expect that. As long as you play it cool, it's going to happen. It's never not happened except once, and that'll be another story. Literally once out of dude, that's crazy statistics. Anyways, I take her back home. I tell her I had a great night, and you know, I just slowly but surely begin to ghost the girl. I don't believe in ghosting all at once and blocking her right there and then. I think that's just too ruthless, and it really fucks with someone when you treat them like garbage. So I just don't believe in that. I call me whatever you want. I believe in treating a girl with respect, regardless whether you want to be with her or not. So I did end up taking her home. I left her there. I went back home. I'm like, fuck, what a colossal waste of time. At least I had a fun conversation, but my one token of fun per week was used up in a not so optimal way. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my story of getting catfished. And not every story is going to be above PG-13. Most of them are. I have a couple of really fucking funny stories like these, that like this one, that has occurred in the deep past. Not every story is going to end with me putting in that work. Most of them will, because otherwise it wouldn't really be a successful date, would it now? The next story I will tease y'all about is basically of me and at the gym that I was training at during the city. I would meet a girl there. I'm not going to come up with a fictitious name quite yet, but I would meet up with a girl there that liked me, but my best friend during the time liked her. So there's going to be a love triangle of pain and misery and whatnot. Because damn, girls just know how to play dudes for simps. Like, they just know how to play simps, man. So, word of advice, ladies and gentlemen, don't be a fucking simp. Because poor homeboy was here begging for this girl to acknowledge and like him, buying her all kinds of shit, while she was just waiting for Daddy Alex to come in there and her guts out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll catch y'all next time.